Good morning all. Myself Mohammad Shafiullah, Assistant Professor in Department of CSE BITM Bellary. Welcome back to this course on C programming for problem solving. In this video I am going to explain you about storage classes in C language. So before we go to that topic, let us understand few simple terms: scope, lifetime and visibility of a variable. So basically what is a variable? A variable is a name given to a physical memory location, right, and whose value may change during the execution or running of a program. So before we go to scope, lifetime, let us understand what exactly is a block. A block is zero or more statements. Block is basically a statement, set of statements that you write within a pair of braces. So basically we use braces for functions, right? So that functions is nothing but a block. A block is zero or more statements enclosed within a pair of braces. And scope of an object is defined as the region or a boundary of the program in which an object is visible. So what is the scope of that particular object? It is within that particular, what that scope is nothing but it's of an object is defined as the region or a boundary of the program wherein that particular object will be visible. So the visibility of that object, the region where that object is visible or the boundary of that, we call it as a scope. So objects can be variables or function prototypes. We are saying the scope of an object. So what can be an object? It can be either a variable or it can be a function declaration. So scope can be of either global scope or local scope. Global scope is nothing but these objects are defined outside the block. They are not defined within a function. When we say outside the block, they are not defined within the function. So where they are defined then? They are defined in the global area. That is, we have no documentation section, preprocessor directives, global declaration section. So that area is called as a global area. And normally we declare our functions in global area. So that is our global scope. Then we have a local scope. What is that local scope? So we will define that objects within the block. Objects that are defined inside the block. That is nothing but local area. We had this local declaration. Now in main function we have local declaration section. So that is what our local area is. So global variables are global scope, have global scope, local variables have local scope. Then what is visibility? Visibility is the program's ability. It is basically the program's ability to access that particular variable from the memory. And lifetime speaks about, of a variable is nothing but the period or the duration during which a variable will be active during the execution of a program. A lifetime of a variable is the period, also duration, you can say, during which a variable will be active during the execution of a program. So that is nothing but lifetime. Lifetime is nothing but its life, how long it is going to remain. So coming to storage classes, we have got different storage classes and then in turn they have different scope and lifetime. So these are the storage classes. We have local variables, global variables, static variables, register variables. Local variables are also called as automatic variables. Then we have global, external variables, static, register variables. Global variables are also called as external variables. Now coming to the local variables. Local variables are those variables wherein we declare inside a function. That is, these variables are declared within a block, within a pair of braces. And they are also called as automatic variables. Why do we call them automatic? Because they are created when you call a function. These variables are created when your function is called and they will be destroyed automatically when the function is terminated or exited. Hence the name automatic variables. So to understand this, let us take a small example. Here I have got two different functions. One is fun1, the other is fun2. Let me say this as fun2. Then I have x equals to 20, then I have x equals to 9. One case I have x equals to 1, the 20, then I have x equals to 9. So this x is 20 in this case and this x is 9 in function 2. And remember, this x doesn't have any relationship with this x in this function. Why? Because this x scope or lifetime is only within this function 1 and the scope of this x, that is 9, will or the lifetime or scope of this x is only within this function 2. So when this x gets into existence, the moment this function is created, the moment you enter into the function, this variable is created and when it will be destroyed, when you are terminating a function. So once this x has lost its virtue, again when you go to the next function, this x is local to this function. So this is created, and when it will be destroyed, the moment you terminate, it is destroyed. No question of again having its lifetime. Hence these are called as local variables. And what will be the scope of these variables? They are local only to that function, function 1. This x is local to function 1, this x is local to function 2, and remember this x doesn't have any relationship with this x. This is about local variables. Then we have a global variables. These are the variables which are declared outside a function. They are not declared within a function block. They are not declared within a pair of braces. These variables can be accessed by any function in a program. Why can you access them by any function in a program? Because they are declared in global area, global declaration section. Hence they are visible to all the functions in a program. So they are active and alive throughout the entire program. Why are they alive and active throughout the entire program? Because they are declared in global area. Once you declare them in a global area, they can be accessed by any function in a program. That is the reason they are active and alive throughout the entire program. Since they are active and alive throughout the entire program, we call them as global variables. So let us understand this with a small code. I have a int count, which is a global variable. I have header files, then I have a global area, global declaration section. Int count, which is a global variable. Now void fun1, I am calling a function. In function 1, count equals to, I am printing it. Then again I am calling another function. In function 2, count equals to. Sorry, I am not calling a function, I have written a function declaration. I am sorry, I am writing a function declaration. Function 1, wherein I am printing function count value. Again I am writing another function declaration definition, wherein I am printing count value. Now this is my main function, and you know that always execution begins with main function. And also I said that in my previous classes that I can write function definition either before main function or after main function. Normally we write after main function, right? So now count equals to 100. See, declaration is done in global area, and initialization of that variable is done in main function. That purely indicates that this is a global variable and it will be available to all the functions. So now function 1, I am calling a function 1. So what will be the thing now? Call the control shift from calling function to called function. So here in function 1, count equals, so what is the value of count? 100 will be printed. Again control shifts back to function call, main function. Again I am calling another function, function 2. So control shift from calling function to called function. In function 2, count equals to, again count value will be printed. Then printf in main function, count equals to. So as a result of it, if you check it out, all 3 times count value will be 100. Why it will be the same value? Because this count is visible to all the functions. Not only it is visible to function 1, function 2, but also to main function. Here we are doing the declaration. We are doing the declaration of count. We are doing the initialization of count in main function. But we have declared where? We have declared in the global area, global declaration section. That is the reason count value is the same value, and it is the same variable which is treated across all these functions. It is the same count variable. It will not change. Why? Because it is globally visible to all the functions in a program. So then comes static variable. So values of static variables persist until the end of a program. The moment you till the end of a program, they have their values. So static variables are initialized only once. Remember that they are initialized only once. When exactly? When you compile the program. They never initialize again. There is no reinitialization concept for static variables. How many times they are initialized? Only once. The word static indicates that it will remain the same value. Let us see this with an example. Static variables, how do you declare them? You declare them using the keyword static in lowercase. Example, static int num, where static is a keyword, int is a data type, num is a variable. Now code to demonstrate the static variable. Void fun, there is one function called fun, function declaration, then main function. See, I am calling this function thrice. In main function I am calling this function thrice, fun. Then I am saying terminating it. Then in function, what did I do? Int n1 equals to 5. N1 value is how much? 5. Then n2 value is how much? 5. Remember, n1 is 5, n2 is also 5. Whereas n1 is local variable, n2 is static variable. What is the difference between these two? We will come to know once we see the output. Integer, static is not written for this. So it is a local variable, whereas the word static here indicates that it's a static variable. So both the variables starts from the same value 5. So we are printing it before increment and after increment, n1 and n2. We are printing it before and after increment, then we return it. How many times we are calling it? 3 times we are calling, thrice. So what should be the output of this code? Any guesses? See here, n value is 5, n2 value is 5. Initially n value also starts with 5, n2 also starts with 5. Whereas n1 value will be 6 after increment, post increment, right? n1 value will be 6, n2 value will be 6, correct? This blue in color, just check the blue in colors. Why I am highlighted this in blue? Because it is a static variable. Now there is a twist. N value is 5, n2 value is, sorry, it is n2 value here. n1 value is 5, yeah, correct. n1 value is 5, n1 value is 6. n1 value is 5, n1 value is 6. Look at it, 3 times we are calling it, right? Every time we are printing it before and after. So same, n1 value is 5, 6, 5, 6 in all cases. 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6. n1 remains to be same. Why? Because reinitialization happens. The moment, when there is a function call fun, it will be printed. Okay, n1, 5, 6 will be printed. Again, it will return the control back. Again, you are calling a function. n1 value will be reinitialized to 5 back. Whereas, what happens with static? 5, 6. Did it increment? 6, right? Next time, static. Static means it will fix that value. After a function is called, when the control shifts here, n2 will not be reinitialized to 5. It will start from the value where it was left. So what was the previous value of n2? 6. So it will start from 6. 6. So when you increment 6, it becomes 7. Again, you are calling a function, right? So again, it will resume from the point where was the last value. The last value was 7. So it will resume from 7. That is the difference between a static variable and a non-static variable. Static variable means it will not be reinitialized again. It will be initialized only once. That is when you compile the program, and it will never be initialized. Whereas a local variable keeps on initializing every time. That is the reason we get 5, 6, 5, 6 for all. Whereas for n2 we won't get 5, 6. We get 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. Can you guess what will be the next call? Suppose if I write once again another function call, what should be the output? n1, no doubt it will be 5, 6, but n2 will be 8, 9. Why? Because it will resume from 8. So the last part of this is register variables. Registers are nothing but, basically they are the storage units inside microprocessor. And since these registers are part of microprocessor, so the data stored in these registers can be accessed very fast. And register variables are declared by using the keyword register. Example, register int m. When I write register int m, m is a variable, int is a data type, register is a keyword. So this above declaration, register int of m, will instruct the compiler that this variable m, register keyword will tell that the variable m should be stored in one of the registers but not in main memory. Why? Because you have used the word register. Why are you trying to store m in register? Because you want them to access very fast. So remember, there is very less space left will be there for registers. So you cannot store all the variables in registers. Frequently accessed variables can be stored in registers. For example, loop control variables can be stored in registers. And what happens if there is no space in registers? Automatically it will give the storage in the main memory, but it will not give in the compiler. First it will check registers whether if it can give the storage in register, it will give. If it could not find the space in the register, automatically default it goes to main memory. So that's it for this session. If you have any doubts, please do comment in the comment section. Please subscribe to my videos for further notifications. Thank you.